The Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group in Gonzales. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lieber King.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Lewis Cook, running back coach at Notre Dame High School in Crowley, Louisiana.
Son of Coach Cook at Notre Dame. Lou, you get that a lot, but you've been here for 25 years as a coach with your dad, currently running backs coach, played for your dad. I was asking you, just if we got a joking story to mention or just something funny for the football people watching, because every coach that watches this, there's some laugh days in practice. It's not always screaming and hollering and teaching, but share a little story you told me earlier that you remember most for football here at Notre Dame.
Like you said, Mr. Lee, it's been 25 years, and this goes back a little bit further. I was a senior high school. This was my last, year of spring. It was the spring of '99, and there was a fullback in my class named Corey Boudreaux. Corey, bigger kid with some athleticism, and we were trying to get him ready, to be the fullback. We had moved him from the line because he was pretty agile. Well, one of our best run plays is called G, where the tight end goes inside to seal the linebacker and the guard pulls and kicks out the end. Well, the defensive end on that play did a good job of holding up the tight end, so no one had the linebacker. And Adam Mesh, who ended up being the defensive MVP for 3A as a senior, he was at that linebacker spot right there, and he comes clean and puts a really good hit, on Corey. He's laying on the ground, and everybody thinks he's got a concussion or something because of the velocity of the hit. And my dad comes walking up to ask Corey if he's okay, and he asks him what day it is. Corey thinks for a second and tells my dad the 14th. We start busting off like we're waiting for Wednesday, Thursday,
right,
or maybe something unintelligible.
14th, 14th.
Unintelligible because he's got a concussion, and he goes, "Is the 14th? Get up, he has his fun, go in the
home." Not everybody gets into coaching just because their dad's a coach. So how old were you when you were like, I think I want to be a coach like my dad?
I mean, for the most part, kind of thought about it a little bit as a freshman, and just as the years went on, kind of more. Senior years when I really completely made up my mind on doing it, I wanted to do something that I thought mattered, that kind of gave back. My degrees in math, and I had, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, these classes with a lot of these engineers. And oftentimes they would make fun of me because they knew how much more money they were going to make than I was. And the two things that I told them was, one, I'm going to enjoy being at work every day and you're not. And number two, I'm going to make a difference in people's lives and you're not.
And I'm good with my choice, and I'm glad you're a coach. I know your dad is glad to have you here at Notre Dame High School in Crowley, Louisiana. Running backs, man, that is an interesting position here because the offense that y'all run is mostly, y'all start throwing the ball a little bit more in the last 10 years, but y'all run the ball a pretty good bit, and you don't use just one running back. And what I've always respected about the Notre Dame offense is that there's always 3 or 4, maybe 5 running backs that rotate. All quick, all tough guys, and not necessarily the biggest guys in the world, but just I've always been impressed with Notre Dame's run game over the years.
Well, we're fortunate over here to have some tough kids that are willing to work hard. And I think we do a pretty good job of identifying who has the characteristics that can be successful in that group. Obviously, you can't win without a defense. And, those guys, they kind of get to pick some. And, we try to find it. We try to find guys that can work it. If you watch the movie Moneyball, where they're talking about how they're looking for these hidden characteristics. And that's kind of where at one of the best running backs we had in 2015 was Gabe Petrie, not one of the most talented kids. We had, he's a smart kid with a high football IQ, and we originally had him in the secondary, but he was having a hard time into, his back pedal transition to a run. Well, we started looking at, I bet he could run the ball. So after his sophomore year, we flipped him over to running back. his junior year was a good learning experience for him in JV. And in 2015, whenever our starting tailback, broke his ankle in the jamboree, we knew we'd be fine with Gabe, with what he can do, and he really had a phenomenal year. We had to rest the Delcom game with a broken hand, but I mean he was our most productive running back in the state championship game, and he really had a tremendous year for us.
Yeah, it's just impressive. Such a close-knit school, and you've been here for 25 years as a coach. I guess we can add 4 more years of that at high school.
About to say 20,
right? 29 years. 29 years.
Oh, my eighth grade year coming to the game. It's really really been around for 30 years, and I mean a lot of the kids are related. A lot of the kids had an uncle or a grandpa or a dad.
Yeah.
Or a sibling that put on that helmet. It's it's a tradition that doesn't exist other places. And it's something special about it. And the kids play hard together. We were playing a game at Kinder, and we had Waylon Bourgeois and Noah Bourgeois, which are first cousins. They were in the game. You interviewed Wesley Duplechamp today, which is cousins to them. Well, Noah got hit late, and before you could blink, here comes his cousin Waylon to knock those guys off. It's he's not going to sit there and let his cousin get taken advantage of. He's going to take up for him. It doesn't matter if it's two. It might have been 2 versus 11, but he wasn't going to let him get beat up by all those guys by himself.
Before we go, and I know we're going to interview Coach Jimmy Mack, and he's got a great story how he met your dad back in the day at USL back then. Your dad, I mean, he's a great guy, and people see the winning, they see the great coach and the great mind. What, as being one of his sons, I know the other son, your brother Jeff Cook, was a quarterback here. What sets your dad apart? Just if he wasn't your dad, you just like, this is what makes him who he is as a coach.
I think that the perspective he has, his ability to understand where everybody's coming from and where they're going, and his ability to put the needs of others first and to understand what motivates them and what they're trying to get out of it. He doesn't have a selfish bone in his body, and the advice he gives is truly in the best interest of whoever it is he's talking to, whether it's another coach that maybe the best opportunity for them isn't the coach here. We'd love to have him, but that wasn't what's best for them, so he's going to give them the right advice, whether it's a player trying to talk him in to continue to play or to do this position. I mean, there's people that in all walks of life that'll call him for advice in situations because he does a great job of understanding what they're asking, what they need, what they're asking, and what's truly going to be best for them in the long term.
Well, Lou, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for helping me put this all together today. I know we talked about a week prior, and we had signing day, a couple of days before, actually the day before, and appreciate you helping me, and everything today has been incredible. Appreciate you.
Anytime. Thank you for the athletes of the state.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.